5 years. 5 whole years. And still not even a miscarriage. What kind of woman is this? My mates are carrying their grandchildren already. You are just sitting here, sewing clothes. Is it clothes you will give me to hold? Goze and Bella had been married for 5 years. Their wedding was small but beautiful, held in a quiet church in Enugu. They had no money for extravagance, but their hearts were full. Bella wore a second-hand gown she adjusted herself, and Goze borrowed a friend's suit. They didn't care. What mattered most was that they had each other. From the beginning, they agreed to wait before having children. They wanted time to settle, enjoy their new life, and build a future. Goze was still struggling with his business then, trying to grow a small logistics company. Bella, on the other hand, had dreams of becoming a well-known fashion designer. She was gifted with her hands, always sketching, cutting, and sewing. They supported each other like best friends. Goze encouraged her and helped her look for customers. Bella stayed up with him on nights he couldn't sleep because of financial stress. They made a great team. By the end of the second year, they started trying for a child. It wasn't a desperate thing at first. It was more like a quiet hope. But the month passed and nothing happened. Bella didn't panic immediately. She read that sometimes it took time. She kept working, growing her small fashion brand. Her friend Kamsi played a big part during this time. Kamsi wasn't just a friend, she was like a sister. She helped Bella buy her first sewing machine. On tough days, she bought food or stayed over just to keep her company. On good days, she cheered loudly and told everyone about Bella's growing skills. Kamsi was there during the quiet waiting season, and she was also there when things began to change. By the fourth year, the pressure started coming from outside. Family members started asking questions. Some did it politely. Others, like Goze's mother, Mama, did not. Mama was a strong village woman. She said what she felt, even when it hurt people. She never liked the idea of waiting for children. In her word, a wife should get pregnant almost immediately after marriage. So when 5 years passed with no baby, Mama lost her patience. One Sunday evening, Bella and Kamsi were in the living room watching a drama on TV. Bella was sewing the sleeve of a client's blouse. Kamsi was peeling oranges. Then the door opened and Mama walked in without knocking. She greeted coldly and sat down heavily on the plastic chair near the window. She looked around, frowned, and then started. 5 years. 5 whole years. And still not even a miscarriage. What kind of woman is this? Bella froze. Her needle paused mid-air. Kamsi turned slowly to look at Mama. She had heard the woman say harsh things before, but this was too much. Mama, please, Bella said softly, almost like a whisper. But Mama didn't stop. My mates are carrying their grandchildren already. You are just sitting here, sewing clothes. Is it clothes you will give me to hold? Bella's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't speak. Kamsi gently dropped her orange. Mama, she said, calm but firm. Children come from God, not from shouting or accusing. What you can do is to pray, not add to their pain. Mama scoffed loudly. You city girls like defending yourselves. That's why most of you are barren. Kamsi gave a small sad smile. And we will keep defending truth, Mama. The truth is, they will have children in God's time. Mama eased and turned her face to the wall. Bella stood up and quietly walked to the kitchen, wiping her face with the edge of her blouse. Kamsi followed after a moment. When she got to the kitchen, she found Bella crying over the sink. "She'll be fine," Kamsi whispered, wrapping her arms around her. "God will show up. Maybe not today, but He will. You are not barren." Bella nodded slowly, though her lips trembled. But in her heart, a small fear had started growing. A fear she couldn't explain, and that Goze didn't seem to notice. Things started changing in small ways at first. Goze wasn't the same anymore. He didn't laugh like he used to. He spent more time outside the house, claiming he was busy with work. He no longer waited for Bella to finish her evening sewing before eating. Sometimes, she would come out of the room and find him already asleep on the couch, his plate pushed aside. When Bella tried to talk, he listened with tired eyes. He nodded but gave short answers. On some nights, he didn't come home until late. When she asked where he had been, he simply said, "I needed air." Bella noticed how quickly he got irritated over little things. If she served food a few minutes late, he frowned. If the generator wasn't switched on when power went out, he complained. His quiet nature turned cold. His silence began to feel like punishment. She tried to reach him, tried to make the home warm again. She cooked his favorite meals, left kind notes on the table, and even suggested they travel, just the two of them. But he said they couldn't afford it. Meanwhile, Mama had grown louder in her opinions. Whenever Goze visited her in the village, he returned with more frustration than peace. He would sit in the living room in silence, his phone in hand, barely responding to Bella's questions. One evening, he came home from a weekend visit looking exhausted. His shirt was rumpled and his face looked like someone carrying too many thoughts. Bella served him yam porridge and sat beside him quietly. After a long silence, he finally spoke. "Mama thinks maybe we waited too long. She said maybe all these city girls have done something to themselves in the past." Bella blinked slowly. "You mean she thinks I can't have a child because of something I did?" Goze didn't answer immediately. He chewed slowly, then shrugged. "I told her it's not true. I told her you are not that kind of person." Bella nodded and looked down at her hands. The words still stung, even with his weak defense. "Goze, I've done every test. Have been checked. Everything came back okay. What more can I do?" He didn't reply. He picked up his phone again and strolled through it silently. Later that night, while folding her fabrics, Bella brought up something she had been thinking about quietly. "What if we adopt?" she said gently. Goze looked at her like she had said something strange. "Adopt?" "Yes, there are children out there who need homes. We could give one a home. It might even help us stop worrying." He dropped the remote on the table. "No, Bella, I want my own child, my blood." She sighed. "It's just an idea. I thought maybe we could think about it." "Have thought about it," he said quickly, and I said no. Bella didn't push it. She nodded even though her heart was heavy. Later that week, Kamsi came over in the evening. She had brought jollof rice and suya, saying Bella looked too tired to cook. They sat on the floor in the parlor, eating from the same plate. He's not the same anymore, Bella said quietly. I tried to talk to him, but it's like I'm speaking to a wall. Kamsi listened and didn't interrupt. She was good at that, just listening. Bella continued. I even mentioned adoption. He shut it down immediately. Kamsi reached for her hand. Bella, don't give up. It's hard, I know, but I believe God hasn't forgotten you. Bella looked at her with tired eyes. Keep doing your best, Kamsi added softly. But don't lose yourself trying to please everyone. You are not broken and you are not barren. Bella smiled faintly, even though her eyes shimmered with tears. She wiped them before they could fall. She wasn't ready to cry, not yet. And deep down, something told her this was only the beginning. Mama was not the kind of woman who gave up easily. After her last visit, she returned to the village for a few weeks. She started calling Goze almost every evening. Each time, her voice became more forceful. You are wasting time, she would say. Time is not your friend. You are not a boy anymore. At first, Goze tried to ignore her. He would nod while she spoke and say, okay, Mama, just to end the call. But the pressure kept building. Every conversation was about children, about legacy, about shame. Then one evening, Mama came back from the village, this time with someone else. Her name was Amaka. She was young, quiet, and barely spoke. Her eyes stayed on the ground. She greeted Bella with both knees on the floor and spoke in soft whispers. Bella was confused. She had no idea who the girl was or why Mama brought her. This is my friend's daughter, Mama said. She will be staying with us for a few days. Bella didn't ask questions. She only smiled politely. But something didn't feel right. Amaka didn't act like a guest. She didn't try to help with anything. She just stayed in the spare room and avoided Bella's eyes. Then one night, Bella stepped out of the room to get water from the kitchen. The house was quiet. She heard voices from the sitting room. The door was slightly open. It was Mama and Gozi. This girl is fresh from the village, Mama was saying. She has not been used like that one. She will give you a son. Let us do the traditional marriage quietly. She will not disturb your home. Just put her in one small flat. Bella stood still. Her heart started to beat fast. She moved away from the door quietly and returned to the bedroom. She sat on the edge of the bed for almost an hour. The cup of water was still in her hand. The next morning, Bella didn't hide her feelings. She asked Goze directly, what is going on between you and your mother? Is there something I need to know about Amaka? Goze looked at her surprised. He shook his head. Nothing is going on. She is just Mama's friend's daughter. Bella wanted to believe him, but something in her chest felt tight. She didn't push further. A few days later, Mama returned to the village with Amaka. Bella thought it was over, but it wasn't. In secret, Goze followed them to the village the following weekend. He left without telling Bella where he was going. He said it was business related. In the village, Mama had already arranged everything. A small traditional marriage was done. Drinks were shared. Prayers were said. When Goze returned to Abuja, he didn't go home straight. Instead, he rented a one-bedroom apartment for Amaka on the outskirts of town. Somewhere quiet, somewhere Bella would never find. He didn't tell Bella. Bella had lived with Goze long enough to know when something wasn't right. The way he started avoiding eyes contact, the way he snapped at little things, how he stopped praying with her in the mornings. At first, she blamed stress. Maybe work was getting to him. Maybe Mama had said something again. But deep down, her heart kept warning her something had shifted. Then came the night everything shattered. Goze was in the bathroom when his phone rang. It was almost midnight. Bella reached for the phone, thinking it might be work. A soft female voice spoke quickly. "Are you still coming? Or should I just lock up and go to bed?" Bella froze. She didn't respond. She just sat there, holding the phone as the call ended. She stared at the screen for a long time. Then slowly, she unlocked his phone using the password she had memorized a long time ago, his mother's birthday. Her hands shook as she strolled through his gallery. There were pictures of Goze and another woman, Amaka. Traditional wedding clothes. Mama sitting proudly. In one photo, Amaka's stomach was already showing she was pregnant. Bella covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming. Her chest burned. Her hands became weak. Her legs barely carried her to the bedroom. She waited until he came out from the bathroom. She didn't raise her voice. "Who is she?" Goze didn't say anything. "I saw the photos," she whispered. "You married her. Mama helped you, and you didn't even have the decency to tell me." He sat on the edge of the bed and dried his hair. Still no word. Bella's voice cracked. "After everything we've been through, you betray me like this." That's when he stood. He walked out and returned with her small suitcase. He placed it by the door. His voice was low but final. "Leave. Just go." "Goze, you are blocking my destiny, Bella." Bella gasped. "Me? After all I've done for you? You can't give me a child. You think life is just love and prayer?" Tears flowed freely now. Bella didn't argue again. She quietly packed her remaining things and stood at the door. She looked at the man she once loved, a man she gave her youth to, but there was no warmth in his eyes. As she walked away, she whispered one last thing: "God sees everything." Then she left. Kamsi welcomed Bella with open arms. No questions, no judgment. Bella didn't have much, just 2 suitcases and a broken heart. But Kamsi made space for her, not just in her house, but in her life. "Stay as long as you need," Kamsi said. "This is your home now." For 2 weeks, Bella barely spoke. She spent most of her time sitting on the balcony, staring into space, thinking about everything that went wrong. But Kamsi didn't give up. She cooked her favorite meals. She added Bella's name to her morning prayer points. Sometimes she would just sit beside her and hold her hand. Slowly, Bella began to rise again. She took her sewing machine out of the box. She began sewing for old clients. Then neighbors started bringing clothes. A woman nearby asked for uniforms for her children. Money started to come in, small at first, but steady. One morning, Bella took a deep breath and called an agent. She used her savings and rented a modest 1-bedroom flat in Lokogoma. It wasn't fancy, but it was hers. On the day she moved in, Kamsi helped her arrange the few things she had. When they were done, the two women stood in the middle of the room and looked around. "It's not much," Bella said, "but it's yours," Kamsi replied, "and it's a beginning." Meanwhile, in another part of town, Gozie was celebrating. Amaka had moved in with him. Mama was more present than ever, visiting every week with soups and wrappers. To them, this was a new dawn, a new chance to carry the family name. Gozie showed off Amaka like a prize. They went to the market together, to church, to ceremonies. He held her hand in public. Mama told everyone who would listen, "My son has finally married a woman who can give me a child." She bragged in the market, smiled widely at her neighbors, and carried a sense of victory everywhere she went. But life has its own timelines. The news came on a hot Saturday afternoon. Amaka had delivered a healthy baby boy. Gozie rushed to the hospital, his hands shaking with joy. He held the tiny child with so much pride in his eyes. The boy had chubby cheeks, fair skin, and a loud cry that made Gozie smile. "He's a real man already," Gozie said, laughing. Mama couldn't hide her happiness either. She danced in the hospital corridor and gave out sachets of juice to the nurses. "My grandson have come," she shouted. "He has come to carry on the name of the family." They named the boy Chinomso, which means God is near. Gozie opened a saving account for the child that same month. He even bought a small gold chain and had the boy's name engraved on it. He took countless photos and posted them online with captions like, "My word in human form, the one who carries my name." Soon after, Gozie got an email from a firm in Canada. They had revealed his credentials and wanted to offer him a managerial role. It felt like his season had finally arrived. Everything was falling into place: career, family, a child. The process for immigration began. They submitted forms, documents, passports. The embassy requested medicals. Everything was smooth. Until one afternoon, they received a mail from the Canadian embassy. Due to inconsistencies in the child's submitted birth records, a DNA test is required. It didn't seem like a big deal. Gozie took it lightly. "Just a formality," he told Amaka. "We will sort it quickly." They visited the approved clinic and submitted their samples. Days passed, then the results came. Gozie sat in the living room with the envelope in his hands. He opened it slowly. His heart thumped louder with every line he read. Then his eyes stopped. Probability of paternity 0.00%. He read it again. Same results, no biological match. The living room turned cold. Gozie stared at the paper like it had slapped him. "What is this?" he whispered. Amaka didn't speak immediately. She just froze. Her fingers trembled. He turned to her. "I said, what is this?" That was when her legs gave way. She dropped to her knees and started to cry. "I didn't mean to. I didn't know I was pregnant." Gozie's lips quivered. "What do you mean you didn't know?" Amaka buried her face in her palms. "It was just once, a mistake before the traditional wedding. I thought it was nothing." Gozie shouted. His voice tore through the house. Mama ran in from the backyard to see what was happening. She picked up the paper. As her eyes scanned the results, her legs weakened. She fainted. Everything Gozie thought he had built collapsed that evening. He rushed to redo the DNA test. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe the sample were mixed up. But when the new results came in, it said the same thing. The child was not his. From that day, Gozie changed. He didn't go to work. He didn't eat well. He didn't even want to see the child again. The walls felt like they were closing in. Shame crawled all over him. The DNA test results haunted him like a shadow he couldn't shake off. How could this happen? He asked himself again and again. The child that bore his name, the child he had already shown the world, wasn't his. He needed answers, real answers. Early the next morning, Gozie walked into the hospital, tired and broken. He met with a senior doctor and requested a full fertility checkup. The doctor looked at him puzzled. "You want to run a sperm test?" "Yes," Gozie said quietly. "Everything, please." They took his blood. They collected his samples. He returned home and waited. The days stretched long and cold. He barely said a word to Mama or Amaka. He avoided his friends. He switched off his phone. 3 days later, the hospital called him back. He sat quietly across the doctor. His heart pounded like a drum. He tried to act calm, but his palms were sweating. The doctor adjusted his glasses and looked straight at him. "I'm sorry, Mr. Gozie," he began, flipping the test results. "You have a condition called azoospermia." Gozie blinked. "What does that mean?" "It means your sperm count is 0. The doctor replied gently. "There are no sperm cells in your semen, none at all." Silence filled the room. Gozie's heart stopped for a moment. He felt dizzy. The doctor continued. "It's a rare condition, but not impossible. It's the reason you've never been able to father a child." Gozie collapsed into the chair. His eyes were wide, lost. He couldn't move. His mouth was dry. His mind began to rewind everything. Every fight, every insult he has thrown at Bella. The years of blaming her. The nights she cried alone. The painful words. The name calling. The rejection. Everything makes sense now. Bella had never been the problem. He was. The sun was already setting when Gozie jumped into his car. His heart raced. His mind screamed one thing. Find Bella. Tell her everything. Apologize. Beg. Try. He drove like a man chasing time. His shirt was wrinkled. He hadn't shaved in days, but none of that mattered. All he wanted was to see her one more time. He pulled up outside Bella's fashion studio and stepped out, his hands trembling. The door creaked open. It was Kamsi. She paused, surprised to see him, her face tightening immediately. "I need to see Bella," he said, his voice cracked. "Please." Kamsi didn't answer immediately. She stepped outside and gently shut the door behind her. Then she folded her arms across her chest and looked him in the eyes. "She's not here," she said flatly. "Where is she? Please, I need to see her, just for a moment." Kamsi sighed and shook her head. "She got married last month." Gozie blinked. "What?" "She's not your concern anymore," Kamsi added, her tone sharp. "She's moved on." Gozie stepped back. No, no, that can't be true. She's happy now, Kamsi said with finality. Leave her that way. She turned and walked back in, locking the door behind her. Gozi stood there in silence, his heart shattered. The streets around him faded. He was frozen. He didn't remember how he got back home. All he knew was that the world felt colder now, colder than it had ever felt. That night, he sat on the edge of his bed, staring into space. The wall of his house mocked him. The silence felt louder than ever. Then, with sudden rage and pain, he stood up and stormed into the sitting room where Mama sat quietly watching TV. I hope you are happy, he said bitterly. Mama looked up confused. You destroyed my marriage, he shouted. You and your plans. What are you talking about, Gozi? Mama asked, startled. I went for a test, Mama. I've never been able to father a child. Never. But that was never the problem. I was. Mama's eyes widened. I treated her like trash. I believed you when you pushed me to marry Amaka. I sent Bella away. I ruined her life. And mine. Tears rolled down his face. She's married now. She's gone. Mama's lips trembled. I didn't know. You didn't care, he cut in. You just wanted control. Well, take Amaka back to the village. Mama gasped. You heard me, Gozi said, firm and broken. You and Amaka should leave first thing tomorrow. Time passed slowly for Gozi. The house was quiet, too quiet. Amaka and Mama were long gone. Their room remained empty, untouched, and he didn't bother to lock the door. What was the use? There was no one left to keep out. Some nights, he stayed up, staring at old pictures on his phone. Pictures of him and Bella, her laugh, her eyes, her smile. When she used to call him Gozi baby, those memories were now ghosts. One cold Thursday morning, as he strolled aimlessly through Instagram, he saw her again, Bella. There she was, standing beside a tall, dark-skinned man. Her smile was full, peaceful. She looked healthier, happier, freer. Her stomach was round, a baby bump. She was pregnant. The caption read, counting down to our little miracle, God is faithful. His heart paused. He clicked on her profile. The pictures told a story he wasn't part of anymore. She was married. Her life had moved forward. Her joy had returned. A year into her new marriage, Bella conceived naturally. No IVF, no doctors panicking, no blame games, no shouting, no test. Just love, peace, and patience. She gave birth to a beautiful baby girl with full cheeks and tiny hands. The post was filled with congratulations. He saw a short video, Bella laughing as her husband cradled the baby in his arms. Gozi watched from a distance, sitting in the same living room that once echoed with Bella's voice. Now it was filled with silence. He didn't comment. He didn't like the post. He just stared. The man he used to be, the proud, loud, careless man, was gone. What was left was a shadow, fading slowly in the background. Sometimes regrets come dressed in silence, and sometimes the rain doesn't fall because you stood under the wrong roof. The story teaches that Assumptions ruin relationships. Goze never confirmed the real cause of their childlessness, but quickly blamed Bella, which slowly destroyed the trust between them. It also shows that family interference can break a home. Goze allowed his mother to dictate his marital decisions, and it only brought pain and regret. The story reminds us that truth delayed is help denied. If Goze had gone for the fertility test earlier, he would have saved his marriage. Patience should be valued, not punished. Bella stayed loyal for years, yet Goze never appreciated her until she was gone. In the end, it shows that some regrets come too late. By the time Goze realized the damage he had done, Bella had moved on, happy without him.
Thank you so much for watching this fantastic story on African Stories by Tiana. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more amazing stories. See you next time.